Welcome back and thank you for staying with us on Daybreak Extra. Yes, it is time for phone in conversation with you. You know we always love to interact with you here on Trust Television. So basically, Saturday is that day where we bring you topic that affects us, our society, and we get to dissect. So this is something that we have to address, and I'm so excited about this topic. So in the vibrant tapestry of Nigerian culture, language is a thread that binds us together. Yet, a disturbing trend is emerging when Nigerians are increasingly abandoning their native languages in favor of the English language. So this shift has profound implications for our cultural heritage, our identity, and even our own economy. As English becomes the dominant language, traditional languages have a risk of fading into obscurity. So our elders, the keepers of our own cultural traditions, are often the last generations to speak these languages fluently. Once they are gone, then a precious part of our heritage will be lost forever. So in order to put this into perspective of what is going on in Nigeria, our own reporter Jimmy Adzande did a report on this in Benue State. Take a look.
Nigeria, like many African nations, boasts of over 200 ethnic groups. Sadly, only a few are actively working to preserve their indigenous languages. This has become a major concern for elders who feel the younger generation is neglecting their cultural heritage. For those of us who are members of the Traditional Council, we are worried with this trend. Oftentimes, we discuss to chart the way forward. But it seems we cannot do it alone. We are begging on whoever is concerned to help. Some residents express concern that parents and guardians are failing to teach their children their native languages, unlike in the past. They worry that many parents prioritize Pidgin or English over their mother tongues. School administrators say they are limited in what they can do if parents don't reinforce language learning at home.
The parents are so happy to say that my children don't know how to speak Tiv. They don't know how to speak their mother tongue, and they're so proud about it. And so we were speaking to the director of secondary, and we told him that it is actually wise that we have languages. We know we study language, we study French, but we don't study Tiv language in school. So it is wise that we introduce Tiv and Idoma in schools, like in our schools here in Benue State.
We discover that now we find ourselves in a situation whereby instead of the parents to speak their own mother tongue with the children at home, most of them speak English. So the English language should be left for the teachers in school, while the parents should speak and teach their children their mother tongue.
Some parents, they are not teaching their son the mother language, their own language, and which is not good, which is not proper. I want to advise parents that at least try to teach your son your language.
The government, teachers, and parents must unite to address the language challenge if Nigeria's rich cultural diversity is to be preserved for future generations. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
Now, that was our reporter Jimmy Adzande in Benue, reporting and talking to elders that are scared that our languages are going into extinction. But it's not just our Nigerian elders that are fearful about this. There's a fear that every 40 days, now this is based on research, that every 40 days, which is more like a month and 10 days, a language dies on every 40 days basis. It says that this catastrophic loss is being amplified by the climate crisis, according to linguists. So if nothing is done, here comes the fear. Conservative estimates suggest that half of all the 7,000 languages now so far a lot of languages has been in extinctions. They've gone out of extinctions. And so far we have 7,000 languages. And now they are saying if we're not careful and we don't preserve our languages, that 7,000 will, that's the current languages being spoken, will be extinct by the end of the century. We're talking about this 21st century now. Now, I don't know how, you're looking at this, but I want you all to be alarmed, because there is one thing that was said in that report is that some parents brag about their children not being able to speak their own languages. If there is one thing that is clear on a global level, we know that there's the global north and there's the global south. And before, it used to be the host developing, underdeveloping, there's the first, second, and third world country where we fought against, and then now it's global north and south. And the global north will always rise themselves above us. They have this mindset telling us that our cultures are beneath theirs. And we already grew up into believing that kind of thing, where someone literally would wear something that looks, Western, and someone would wear something that looks African. And people would praise the one that looks Western and laugh for the ones that look, African. So we literally are believing that our culture is beneath, the Western culture. And because of that, we're dropping our languages and taking on this other more dominating languages. We're talking about English, French, Arabic, basically, to some extent, maybe Portuguese, languages like that are taking over, and we are now forgetting our own. So now we want to hear from Nigerians. The question is, do you teach your children your own language? And if at all you don't, we want you to hear from other Nigerians the implications of all of this that's going to happen in future. Yes, we'll open the phone line. The numbers will be displayed on your TV screen, where you can get to call us on any of these numbers. And do not forget, you can send in WhatsApp message via the first number. Please, if you're calling us, stay away from your TV set while you are calling to share your take on all of this. And we want to hear you. Like, why, if you are part of the people that teach your children your own language, give us a better look on the implications of not teaching your children languages. So please go ahead, call us. Let's hear your take on this matter. I cannot wait to dissect this discussion with Nigeria, because it's about time that we talk about this. Languages are going out of extinction. Languages are being forgotten. There are languages right now that people pride to say, oh, I can't even speak my language. Sometimes some children are lucky to have parents that taught them in their languages, but then because of peer pressure, you want to feel, oh, I'm civilized. So basically, yeah, civilization is you just forgetting your own language. Let's pick this first call. Good morning.
Good morning, Abubakar.
Yes, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Yes, I'm speaking to Ali Umar Shawati from Aponda, Nasarawa State.
Aliyu Omar, it's good to have you again. How is Nasra this morning?
Yeah, there's no problem.
Okay, so let's hear your take on today's topic.
Yeah, you see, the truth of the matter is that the environment not grew in the aspect. Let's say, for instance, we are saying an environment, and the children around that place are speaking English language. Maybe expect that the children must speak English language. If it is Hausa, it is another language. It is the same thing. Unlike me, I'm mother by tribe. Despite I cannot speak my dialect, my wife can speak my dialect. As I'm speaking to you, my children, they only speak English and they only speak English language. Even Hausa, I find it difficult for them. So my wife, she's trying to speak that mother tongue for them. But they master English language. So that is the problem. Yes. So because I can't speak my dialect, that's of the matter. Because I didn't grow up in the village. So if I want to communicate with them, I communicate with them in English language. So that is. But that's what is already we should teach people how to speak another language, because someone had a problem, but they were stayed because he communicated through their mother tongue.
Yeah.
So it's very genuine. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aliyu, for that. Aliyu says as much as he cannot speak his language, his wife can, and she's teaching his kids. That is a great thing, and it is really beautiful to maintain, culture and tradition and languages. We do have beautiful languages, Nigerians. I think we underestimate our languages, honestly. Good morning. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, your name and where you're calling from?
Mohammed Abubakar, I'm calling you from Adamawa State.
Mokhtar from?
Mohammed Abdullahi from Adamawa State.
From Adamawa. It's good to have you from Adamawa. Let's hear your take on today's topic.
Honestly, is a wonderful topic this morning, and it's sad that honestly we don't know what our leaders are thinking in this country, because you need to have a structure. When you have a government that just put priority on certificate instead of skills, certainly they are discouraging the indigenous languages. Take a look, China, look at Japan, look at most of these countries that move forward in life. You understand? They do things in their own indigenous language. But certainly, Nigerians are very brilliant. Nigerians are good, despite that, we have to borrow language from other countries, and we're still doing good. And this is the same country that even the pidgin, when you speak the pidgin wrongly, they're laughing at you that you don't know how to speak English. You understand? So honestly, we need to have a structure. We need to have a government that knows what she's doing, or else. You understand? This is gradually how it will be working. Gradually, this is because I have certain people that doesn't even want to speak their language. They are trying to speak their language, but somebody will come and speaking slangs for you. They know he has arrived. This guy is a big boy and stuff like that. So honestly, we need to wake up, and then we appreciate the media, in sensitizing Nigerians, so that we know that at least if they are in school, let them speak the English in school, since the government have made it a law. But when they are at home, most especially the mothers should make sure that these children speak their own indigenous language. May God continue to bless our country. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for that call, Mohammed. Yeah, truly, you got me cracking up when you mentioned people speaking slangs, in Nigeria. Now, we're not saying it just shows how quick-witted Nigerians are. We can learn multiple languages. So if we can learn, if you end up having two parents from two different languages, it's even an advantage to learn your own languages, because like I said, our languages are truly beautiful. Each day in my job as a journalist, I discover for myself a new language, a new tradition, and these people speak it really beautiful. But then you spoke about China. We'll definitely come back to that. Let's speak this call. Good morning. Good morning.
Hello.
Yes, your name and where you're calling from.
Hello.
I can hear you. Can you hear me? All right, I think, we have to let that person go. Please, if you're calling, stay away from your TV set and talk to us through your phone. Do we still have the person on the line? All right, we have to let that person go. Please call us as you're calling. Stay away from your TV set. That way we get to converse. Now, earlier, the caller, Mohammed, spoke about how countries that hold on to their languages has progressed. Truly, you visit that country, and the first thing you do is have to learn their language in order to transact and even, have a normal life in that country. So why not us, doing that in our own country? Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, your name and where you're calling from. Please tone down the volume of your TV.
Samuel calling from Gembu, Taraba State.
Okay, Samuel from Gembu. Good to have you. Let's hear your take.
Yeah. The issue of language is, I think what the best thing to be here is the curriculum of education. Since English is one of the requirements for admission into universities and all this, English has become so important that people want their children to know the language very well, so that they can have their qualification as required. If language was not put as one of the requirements to university or their local dialect, I think that will not be so encouraged. In fact, if you have your child in school, you would like your child to speak English so that he should have a very high score in his white result. So I think that is where the English language is still having a priority in our country to the young ones. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Alma, for that. Now, yes, talking about the fact that our curriculum comes with English, it's unfortunate that we were colonized, as the word is used. For me, I feel like that word is it's like, oh, you people were ignorant before we came to colonize you. That's the mindset that we were being given, right? But if there was one thing we know, was that Nigerians already had their plans, already had their leaders, and we had Emir of Benin. We have a lot of kings in our region. So we did not even need the colonization, but then English is already part of us. But now our thing is, why are we now camping on that? A child would go to school and speak English, and then the child would come home and has to speak English, and we use it as a bragging right that, oh yes, I can speak English. My kids don't even speak languages. That is a problem, because our languages are literally dying on a daily basis, or on a 40-day basis rather. All right, good morning. Do we still have the caller?
Hello, good morning.
Yes, your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Abiodun Yewo. I'm calling from Abeokuta, Ogun State.
Abdul from Abeokuta. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's hear your take.
Yeah, I teach my own children my own language. And the fact is, in our admission system, I think there is a need for us to ensure that if you don't pass a local language, you should be given admission. If you go to foreign countries like Russia, Germany, Japan, if you don't follow their language, you can't proceed. So why can't we do that in our own country? With that, we'll be able to cherish our heritage, which is our culture. So that's my own take on it.
Thank you so much, Abdul, for that. Yes, we have to give kudos to Southwest, the Yoruba people. I'll call languages that... thank you so much, Abdul. I'll call languages that tend to hold on to, teaching their children the language. Yoruba is one of them. Kudos to, the Yoruba people out there. Fulani people, one of them. Even though there's some Fulanis that, because of nomadic movement, moving from one place to another, they've lost their languages. But others, like majority of Fulani people, hold on to that language, and they make sure they teach their kids that. I have to give kudos to also Maiduguri people. Yes, I know Kanuris also hold on to that. They try to do that a lot. But the rest of us, Igbo to some extent. Hausa people, yes, Hausa is basically a large number. But then apart from, these languages that I mentioned, some of them are literally dying. The languages are dying. We don't speak it. We don't push it, and we brag about not even understanding our own language. So what do you have to show for it? Even in the Western world, now it's a crisis that a lot of languages are already out of extinction. We're talking about, the mini languages, there's this word for it. I don't want to call it mini, but then languages that are not, as huge, they're not large in numbers, are already out of extinction. And even the major ones now are taking that. And that is really a concerning situation. Good morning.
Hello, good morning to you.
Yes, good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Yes, I'm Dominic. I'm calling from Kano.
Oh, from Kano. It's good to have you.
Yes.
Let's hear your take on this topic.
Yes, actually, I do speak my language to my kids. So where they find themselves among other tribes. So, yes, I do teach them my own at home. So when they go outside, they now speak English. Because when I found myself, my travels are not there more. So we are mixed, the Igbos, the Edos, and the rest of them. But personally, I do speak my language to them, but they don't respond to me in my dialect. They respond to me in English. So I do try my best to at least teach them my dialect.
Yeah, at least you tried, even though you did have big job, but you tried. Yeah. No, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We appreciate you for that. Yes, there are parents that has I've done efforts, to teach the kids, but then saying it back, the kids find it difficult. So this conversation is an urge, so, a push for us to do better. Sometimes unknowingly we leave these things and don't pay attention to it, and by the time we discovered it, it would be a really bad, it would be in a dire situation, a very bad case. So now it's a wake-up call for us to take it, speak, and make sure your child speaks to you as well. Our cultures need to be retained. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, your name and where you're calling from.
God bless you. I'm Evangelist Ulugunake, calling from Jebu State.
It's good to have you from Ijebu. All right, let's hear your take on this.
My own contribution. You see, language is key in the development of any nation, any family. So I'm very proud of my language, which is Yoruba language. And that Yoruba has Ijebu dialect. I speak my dialect and the Yoruba language to my children. You see, I also speak English to them. When I speak to them, I've trained them to the extent that when I speak to them, they respond to me rather in Yoruba or Ijebu. If I speak English, they respond to me in English as well. You see, the notion that many people have, the wrong notion, is that you must teach your children English at all times. And I've come to discover as a teacher, as well as an evangelist, that even this English and the English we teach our children, they don't speak it well. They speak bad grammar, and they mix it with Pidgin and Yoruba English or Igbo English. You will see their, tribal aspect reflecting in that English. And also, the language, the dialect, they don't speak it well. It's like they are half big. So, but I cherish my Yoruba language and Ijebu dialect and English as secondary and an official language. Let all parents embrace their dialect. Thank you, and have a wonderful pleasant day.
Thank you so much, Evangelist. We truly appreciate you calling in. I mean, when you were just saying you cherish your language, I said as it should, as you should, cherish that language. Now, talking about the economic, sector of how much our languages can bring, we have been pushing for tourism attraction. And if there is one thing we know the human mind is curious about, is learning new cultures. Why do we travel abroad? Why do we travel to Hawaii? It's to learn from their culture, to enjoy another people's culture, from food, how they speak their languages, how they dress, what their buildings are like. And then we travel to even the Asians, talking about the Indian, learning their cultures and their food and their languages. So that is how our own tribes, our own cultures, our tradition, our languages is to the Western world. I mean, we can literally see it from some trade fairs that happen in our country, where we see Westerners come in and they're so excited to buy some of our beads. They're so excited to hear you speak. They're so excited to make documentaries and watching you speak your language with it, while of course they put translation. But we have the beauty of inviting people to come to our country and still earn money from it, sell our own country while doing what we love to do. So there are lots of importance to us holding on to our languages. We have another caller. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. Your name and where you're calling us from. Please turn down the volume of your TV set.
I'm calling from Benue State. My name is Mohammed.
From Benue State.
Yeah.
All right. Let's hear your take, Mohammed. Please, can you stay away from your TV? There's a bit of a feedback. All right. Go ahead. Do we still have Mohammed on the line? Oh, that's really sad. We lost that call. Go ahead. Call us back. Let's hear your take. If you teach your children languages, and if you know the implication of not teaching your kids languages, like I said, some parents tend to teach their children languages, but then the children, due to peer pressure, we always use the word civilized. Now you're speaking as if you're not civilized and all of that. And someone would even eventually speak English, but then while speaking English, our tunes come out because, hey, we are Nigerians and it's allowed. So let's say an Igbo man is speaking English and there is a bit of the Igbo accent, and then someone will laugh and say, oh, why are you speaking like that? You're not polished. You have to say, excuse me, I am not English. I am Nigerian, and this is how I'm going to speak. It's someone's language. And nobody would literally laugh at you for not speaking someone's language really well, but then we laugh at ourselves, and it keeps breaking our heart. It keeps undermining. Like I said, we might not be doing it knowingly, but we ourselves are undermining our languages. And talking about curriculum in school, it shouldn't just be major languages, the Hausa, Yoruba, and Igbo. We need to bring the minority languages also should be in schools. That way we get to grow our own languages and give opportunity to every language to thrive. Good morning. Good morning. Do we still have the caller? We lost that call. Do not forget that you can send us WhatsApp message via the first number on your screen to talk about this topic. Good morning. Please turn down the volume of your TV set. Good morning. All right. I think sometimes you call and you don't know that we picked your call. So if you're calling and it starts ringing, make sure you put the phone right on your ear. That way we get to hear from you. It's a great opportunity, of course, to talk about our languages, our cultures, and it's always a beautiful conversation to also learn from Nigerians. Good morning. Please turn down the volume of your TV set. I don't want to hear my voice over your phone. I want to hear you. Good morning.
Yeah, I have moved the volume of the
All right,
TV
thank you
now.
so much for doing that. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Jacob, still from Ogun State.
Okay, Jacob from Ogun State. Let's hear your take.
Yeah, this issue you are talking about, I'm an Igala man from Kogi State.
Interesting.
And this issue affects Igala people more than any language in Nigeria. I will tell you the reason.
Okay.
The reason is other languages are competing against English. But we are competing against English, we are competing against Igbo, we are competing against Hausa and Yoruba. There are Igala people who speak Yoruba to their children. There are Igala people who speak Hausa to their children. There are Igala people, and there are many other Igala people who speak Igbo to their children. I'll tell you an example. There are so many Igala communities in Anambra State. One of them is Nzam. The people of Nzam, they are bilingual people. But today, if you enter Nzam now, the only language you hear now is Igbo. Those that are Igala among them, they no more speak Igala. All they speak now is Igbo. Other places like that is Ogurogu in Enugu State. So this thing is not good. And our appeal to our elders, parents, allow your children to speak their language in your house. If they are coming to ask for school fees from you, tell them to ask in Igala. That you ask if they can't communicate Igala to you, tell them that you won't give them. They will be forced to learn Igala at all costs. But if they come to you, they want you to give them school fees. And they'll be telling you, Baba, I feel better school Lola. Are you Yoruba? And you also reply them in Yoruba. It is not ideal for a child to request from his dad using a language that is not his father's language, not his own language. So that is my take on this matter. We must, we parents must force our children to speak our language at all, because whether we are living at home or we are living outside our community, we must force our children to speak our language at all costs. God bless you.
Thank you so much. God bless you too. Appreciate you for that. Indeed, we have to. It's a job. It's a tax that we have to carry as every Nigerian. Make sure that our children learn our language, whether you are in or outside. Now, I tend to give kudos to Nigerians outside the country. You see them even in the Western land, speaking our own indigenous language. Already, your child will go outside and learn other languages. So speaking on what is happening, based on the previous scholars' talk on the Igala people, it is okay to learn other languages. Hence the reason why we have, the Hausa, Yoruba, and Igbo in our curriculum in school, which I am pushing for all Nigerian languages to be there. But then it's okay to learn other language, but make sure you know yours. Make sure you know yours. Then the other ones would be an additional, accomplishment for you. Well, let's pick this call. Good morning. Please turn down the volume of your TV. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Ismail calling from Niger.
Ismail from Niger State. Let's hear your take.
Actually, this money topic is a very interesting one.
Thank you.
I think virtually all parts of Nigeria are victim of this. Victim of this in the sense that if you look at northern Nigeria now, a lot of let me start example with my residents.
Okay.
I'm from Borgu, to be precise. We have our own language, is Gisa. But if you come to Borgu today, virtually, in fact, I'm thinking out of our represents, I think if not the villages, the main town of Kainji, to be precise, many of our parents do not speak even our dialect to their children. Rather, they speak Hausa, and we are not Hausas. You see, by so doing, I wonder in the next century or in the next 2 decades, if our children can speak the Bisan fluently. So it does not only affect, it does not only affect we, but it is peculiar to many communities in Nigeria. And I think by so doing that we are not doing good to ourselves. That is one. Secondly, look at China today as a case study. China today, many of them do not even understand English.
Yeah.
But do they need English to develop? In the world today, China is one of the biggest economic in the world. Do they study English to be that? So why are we deceiving ourselves? I believe that is why I like Yoruba people. Yeah. Yoruba people, if you go to core Yoruba villages, they even taught mathematics with Yoruba. Many of the Yoruba people are studying with, there are some I study with. Believe me, if you give them English, they will fail. But in terms of calculation, forget, they are number one. Why? Because it is being taught with their own dialect and they understand it most. So why can't we emulate them? Must we be copycats? We have copied the Western world for more than how many years? Are we developing? I think it's the right time. It's the right time for us to rewrite our curriculum that will suit who we are. We don't need to be totally dependent on the West.
Indeed.
It's not doing us good.
Indeed.
As I said, look at China today.
Yeah.
If I thought they depend on the world, would they develop to where they are today?
Indeed, you made a really valid point. Thank you so much for calling. I truly appreciate you sharing your take on that. Yes, truly, if we're making examples, then what about China? They are surviving and they are thriving with their languages. And those people, because they know the value of language, they are here in Africa learning our own language. We've done several reports on Chinese in the University of Kano, and these people are learning Hausa languages in order to, perhaps they have a zeal of doing something, and they're doing a lot of this. We see a Chinese literally doing a radio program in Hausa language, and you would not know that he's a Chinese man. While others, of course, have their accent mixed with Hausa, other people are truly fluent in it. So if at all someone from outside the country can come and appreciate our languages, then why should we not? And the previous caller made mention of his language. First time I'm hearing it. So there's a lot of beautiful languages that are already dying, and we seem to not know the importance of the implication of what that is going to do to us. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Are you with us?
Yes. Good morning.
Yes. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Mrs. Patricia Mojife from Delta State.
It's good to have you, Mrs. Patricia. Thank you so much for joining us from Delta. Let's hear your take on today's topic.
Okay. Thank you for the program. The program is so interesting.
Thank you.
My own contribution is that the language, this thing, I feel that we lay more emphasis on English, and it's not really good. It's not helping us. Because even me, I'm a victim of it. When I brought my children from the village, we put them in a nursery school. Then in the nursery school, they were saying they should not use vernacular. So for us to really make them to meet up, we were not speaking English, and it's affecting them today, which is not good. We're supposed to be speaking our language when they come back to the house. Because of this kindergarten and nursery school of a thing that comes up, it affects the language seriously. Then another thing I see in it is marriage. Sometimes maybe you didn't marry to your tribe. The two couple will now be saying, which person language the children going to learn. It is really difficult. So I'm looking at it that like marriage, this thing couple, if you marry another tribe, you should learn that person's language. Vice versa, the woman too should learn the husband should, so that they can use those language to even communicate with their children. It will help a lot. Or then the third reason I see in it is that the government should make it mandatory for language, like in our WAEC distinct syllabus. Language should be one of the most important things they should hold important. The same way they are holding English. English, they will say if you don't have C5 or B something, you cannot enter the university, which is not our language. It's not good. We should put it in our language. If you don't have C, you will not enter university, so that the children, the upcoming children today will be able to be serious, because the language is phasing out. There is no two way about it. It's really like here in Delta and Isoko, hardly you will see your children speaking Isoko. They will say who language help, something like that. It's not good. So thank you. That is my contribution.
Thank you so much for joining us. Truly appreciate you. It was great hearing a lady, a woman come in to talk about this, because we tend to know that first people to teach children languages are women, of course. But I feel like we tend to use that as an excuse. When we say no, the children tend to learn from the mother. So if marriage, which was one of the things that she spoke about, if marriage happens to be between two different ethnicity, that should be a great plus for your kid. I mean, while the father is speaking his language to that child whenever he's home, the mother would speak her own. So yes, because the child would be super close to the mother, he would learn that more fluently. But at least he would be able to understand his father's language as well, just because you speak to them. And we know, yes, based on the curriculum to school and all of that, it tends to be difficult. But let's change the narrative today. Let's say if the teachers have issue with a child speaking vernacular in school, then they should let the child know that you're not supposed to speak vernacular in school. That child can pick up English on the street. But then when you're home, you have to speak your own language to your child. And that would be the best situation. Talking about how we even say like who language help, there are certain things I even see on social media. Someone celebrated birthday, took two pictures, one in English attire, and then the other one was a native attire. And people literally said, "Oh, you look classy under the English post, on the English wear post." And then under the traditional, someone said, people started saying, "Why are you dressed like this? Look at you, Hajia." I'm like, I thought Ankara was an African attire, and we saw how the Westerners are even rushing to have it. We know how Ankara sells outside the country. That's because of how indigenous, how original that is for Africans. But then now, even us, like I say, we undermine our own tradition, our culture, our languages, and we're taking up someone else's culture. And whatever you do, these people will not be pleased by what you do. So why not hold on to your own culture? Do we have another caller? All right, we lost that call. Go ahead, please call us. Let's hear your take on this. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, your name and where you're calling from.
I am Mr. James from Makodi.
AGK?
A2 James from Makodi.
Oh, from Makodi. Good to have you, James. Let's hear your take.
Yes, thank you for the program. I happy with this program if government can approve that concerning the formula for study in schools. As woman says that the teachers of president mathematics and English try to be there. I don't know. In the old days, they try a lot. But as our state now, we won't spoil it. Like history, it is not function. And if you didn't know this history, you can't know the background of something. People there from Nigeria study something in America and other countries, but we didn't have our own. We didn't know our own here. It's bad. This is my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, James, for that. Indeed, it is bad. We have to hold on to our own culture. In my course of work as journalists, we do report on different languages, and it's because it does not. We have to work together. And one of our major work is to make sure we retain our languages and our cultures. So we do this, and with every report, there's a discovery of language. For me, I discover new languages in Nigeria that I do not know. Our previous caller, one of our callers earlier talked about a language in Niger State. And if there is one thing we are known for, is that a state can carry almost 30 to even 50 languages in Nigeria. We have over 200 and something languages in Nigeria. And I would not be surprised if some of them have even been out of extinction because of how we don't talk about them. Some major languages swallow up our own languages. So if there is, now we need to go back, because we've heard from elders, some elders in Benue, talking about their concerns about this. If elders die, there's some tradition that literally stops. If we know how tribes are known for some certain things, but immediately the elders die, like that's it. And it begs for us that it calls to the fact that we might be losing our own identity. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Solomon Yula. I'm calling from Taraba State. Solomon
from Taraba. Let's hear your take on today's topic.
Yes, the topic has been a very wonderful one.
Thank
because
you.
Language in Nigeria, especially in Taraba, we the Mumwe language. Most of us are speaking different languages to our children, especially the Hausa and English. And I think it is not what is expected of us as Nigerians. So for me, I decided to, since I come from double background, my mother and my father came from different languages.
Yeah.
So they did not even teach us our language earlier. So when we begin to grow up, I decided to learn the language and decided to impact that language back to my children.
Yeah.
And now my children can speak my language, at least to a certain extent, which makes me happy.
Indeed.
And I think as a Mumwe man, as a Nigerian, I am proud to be a Nigerian. I'm proud to be a Mumwe man, because anywhere I go around the country, I will be proud that I'm a Mumwe man. I can speak the language.
That is really
I encourage
beautiful.
other people and other parents to do that, because if you lost, don't allow your children to get out of that.
Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
That's my take.
Thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. If there is one thing we know of some people, you realize that some people cannot easily trace their forefathers, to trace their lineage, and it's because of things like this. We start from losing our languages, losing our cultures, and all of that, and before you know it, you don't have identity. But if there is anything that Africans are known for, Nigerians are known for, is having their own identity, which is the cultural identity. And if we should lose it, then we lose out on being Nigerians and Africans. Good morning. Good morning. Do we still have the caller on the line?
Yes, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Please. My name is Matthew Chukwemeka. I'm calling from Zaria.
Matthew?
Kaduna State.
Okay, it's good to have you from Zaria. Let's hear your take.
Well, it's a very important topic this morning. I want to conclude and say that all parents should put it a priority to teach their children their dialects. How I did my own is that when my children start growing, before I put them to school, each and every one of them has their Igbo names. And I do explain to them the meaning of the names attached to it. And as they enter school, I bought all the textbooks in Igbo, and I create time to teach them right from home, even before they enter school. So it will help them so much. And I told them one thing, that language is a key to open door.
Indeed.
Anywhere you go, they'll ask you your tribe. And when you mention your tribe, people expect you to speak that language. Am I right?
Sure.
So it's an open door. There's a situation where language can help you to get what you are looking for. There's a situation whereby language can save you from very difficult situations. So I explain to them and they pick it and they are happy about it. So I encourage all parents in Nigeria to adopt it. So that's my contribution. Thank you
so much. Thank you so much. It is a very beautiful thing. I keep whenever I hear a parent, brag, which is what we should be bragging about. We should brag about our children knowing and understanding our own languages really well. Talking about something that we did not even address is not only it's our languages that we don't really pay attention to. There are also other things that we do not pay attention to. Talking about our cultures, our traditions, learning all of this. These are things that we have to hold on to in order not to forget where we're coming from. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, your name and location.
I am here from Kaduna.
From Kaduna?
Yes.
Okay, good to have you. Let's hear your take.
Yeah, I teach our children. We talk about China. I don't know how many dialects are having. I don't know how many dialects Japan is having. There are a lot of languages and dialects. So it's something like in my own. I am Nigerian by tribe. My woman is from my to teach children Nigerian. The woman wants in my language. When they go, they self-English. Issue of suffering, it means that has a free how we can get across that.
I wish you can call us back because your network is breaking a bit. Can you try speaking again? Let's hear from you. Please call us back. I was trying to, even though I was so curious to hear what you are saying because there's passion in your voice, but we cannot really understand. So please call us back. Let's hear from you. So yes, we have different languages, beautiful languages. Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, Bora, Zarma. These are lovely languages that we have. Good morning. Please turn down the volume of your TV set. I think we have to let that person go. So yeah, languages, we have Yedina, Wapan, Tera, Kanuri, Bena, Kare Kare, Shua, Biase. I hope I'm not murdering your language. Apologies. Ijo, Loka, Bade, Bete. Like, these are languages that I'm not even aware of in Nigeria. Bahomono, Mbembe, we have the Bagi, Ejagam, Igala, Busa, Ebera, Eloyi, Dibo, Bole, Alago language, a lot of languages, honestly. Let's pick this call. Good morning.
Hello?
Yeah, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from. Please turn down the volume of your TV. Turn down the volume of your TV. Your name and location.
My name is Ayuba.
Ayuba? Please turn down the volume of your TV set. I can literally hear myself through your phone. Ayuba, where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from Bida.
Okay, Ayuba from Bida. Let's hear your take on today's topic. I know Nupe are people that, I don't know if you're Nupe, I'm just assuming, but there are people that also try to hold on to their languages. What's your take?
I tried this.
Yeah.
And Nupe I tried.
Okay.
And Nupe I tried. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, so you find out that the Nupe Cultural Festival is part of what promotes Nupe language. For instance, in Kwara, and then also in the Kogi and other places. Most especially our area, like Abubakar, Abubakar. There is Nupe festival that normally takes place annually. And again, there is one boy that normally introduces the Nupe language. That is the College of Education, MENA. That is at the Numanakri. So that guy is also trying. For right now, at least the NC program is going on. So this is part of what to promote the indigenous language, especially the speaking of Nupe language in Nupe land. So you find out that by the time when we do that, it will enable generations to continue with this. This is my take home. Thank you.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for calling to share that. Now, still continuing on languages, we have Izon, we have Legbo, Urobo, Boki, Nupe, we have Goimai. There are lots of tribes that, honestly, it's still shocking to me. We have the Tiv, Mbebe, Yedina, Nor, Mobir, Jarawa, Boki, we have Koyam, Yala, Angas, Anan, Efik, Bata, Dibo, Fulfulde, Edo, Kambari, Ibibio, Manga, Badawai, Gade, that's Gade and Gwandara. And truly, we have much more. Now, these are just some of Nigerian language. Like I said, in Nigeria, we have over 200 languages. So this is how beautiful even the name of our languages are. And there is still more that we're not even aware of. There are more that have even gone out of extinctions. And it breaks our heart that all of this is happening. And of course, we're dissecting this. We got one message from Rabiu Abdul Kanjiba where he talked about culture is our identity, the identity of our people, norms and values and symbols of our society. He said that he's proud of his culture, tribe and religion. Sincerely, the core aspect of our culture has totally disbanded and it also disappeared due to our own imitation of the Westerners. So you may find a boy of 15 to 20 years, failed to address his or her own in her own nativity. Try as much as possible to emphasize in speaking your language. Now, this is a call for Nigerians. He said, identify your tribe by putting on your own decent native dresses. Hausa is my identity, and it is his pride. Thank you so much, Rabiu Abdul Kanjiba from Katsina State. Appreciate that message. Yes, you should enjoy and be proud of your own languages. Basically, so it is not preserving the past. Languages is not just about preserving the past. Embracing our own native language, languages can also open up new opportunities. I talk about it. It can foster a sense of pride and belonging. Trust me, if you know the value of your language and culture, you will be very proud of it. It strengthens our cultural ties, between us. Even if you're not Yoruba, if you are outside Nigeria and you hear someone speaking Yoruba, you're quick to jump and say, oh, brother, this is mine, this is part of ours. So basically, and it also boosts economic development. So let's discover or rediscover the beauty and richness of our own native languages. Let's take a concise effort to learn our own native languages. Let's make efforts to speak them more often and pass them to our next generation. After all, our language is a reflection of our own soul, right? So let's reclaim our languages. Thank you so much for everyone that called in today. Like I said, it was going to be amazing, but it's even surpassed my own imagination. I appreciate you for having this beautiful conversation with us this morning. We'll take a break, and yes, we're going to launch Daily Hustle, and when we come back from that, we'll dive into social media stories. Stay with us.